Hey there, I'm Mastin Kipp, founder of thedailylove.com and author of the new book, Daily Love Growing into Grace. Welcome to Daily Love TV. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about something that's not that inspiring to talk about, and that's loss, right? Death. Death is a topic in our world, especially in the Western world, that we tend to shy away from. We spend so much time and money and effort, trying to prevent death from happening, whether it's, complete cosmetic, redoing of the face, or all the, magazine covers today are just like tweaked to get rid of our quote imperfections. And death is something that we really in many ways are terrified of. And the reality is it's something that we all have to face both metaphorically in our lives. There are things that die, whether it's a relationship or a job or, a belief system, an addiction. And then there's literal death where we have people in our lives that pass on, or we have pets that pass on, or at some point you and I will both pass on. I know you're thinking, gosh, what an inspiring video to be watching right now. But trust me, there's a point. The thing is, though, is that there are places in the world where death is actually celebrated. You go to Bali, in the middle of the South Pacific, and, the Balinese have a party when somebody dies. You go to Varanasi in India, and it's like an honor for many people in India to die in Varanasi. And so I'm not suggesting that you die. I'm just suggesting that we think we need to take a different look on death. The first thing is, if there's something that's dying in your life, whether it's a friendship or a relationship or a belief system or a job, finances, or if it's literal death in your life, like there's someone that's passed on, the most important thing we can do is to not spiritual bypass. I remember one time I was in a seminar with Marianne Williamson, and a woman raised her hand, and she said, Marianne, this Course in Miracles thing isn't working. I lost my mom, and, I've been doing the Course in Miracles, but I'm still really sad, and it's just not working. And Marianne said, okay, well, how long ago did your mother pass? And the woman said, well, 3 days ago. 3 days ago, right? There's a natural grieving process that we want to go through, and we don't want to do a spiritual bypass where we just don't think about it, we disassociate from it and just keep moving forward. You could do a spiritual bypass with work where you just don't even think about it and you just keep working. You could do it with yoga, you could do it with personal growth, but the first thing that we want to do when there's a loss is we want to feel the feelings fully. We want to feel our feelings fully. It means you're going to cry your eyes out. It means you're going to be like, oh God, this is horrible, right? I've been there where I just wanted to yell at God for, something being taken or someone being taken from me. I've had plenty of people around me commit suicide. It's a very heavy topic, but you and I, this talk is for the living. And so first thing we got to do is feel our feelings. The first thing we got to do is feel our feelings. We don't want to disassociate from them. We don't want to, drink them or do drugs or any of that type of stuff. We want to feel them. We want to be around a support system of people who understand what we're going through. And then once we start to feel our feelings, the next thing that we want to start to realize is that, death is an impersonal law, an impersonal nature of the universe. We see death and rebirth happening all around us. This is sort of a universal cycle. So the next thing that you want to do is to ask yourself, if I'm experiencing this death, right? Death of a relationship, a death of a job, death of a person, right? After we felt our feelings, you can ask yourself this question: what has this death taught me? What am I learning right now? Well, maybe I'm learning that life is short. Maybe I'm learning that life is precious. Maybe I'm learning that I deserve more in a relationship, or maybe I'm learning I deserve more in my job, or maybe I'm learning I don't even want a job. I want to go start my own business, or maybe I'm learning how to give love to myself if something's dying. And the most important part about death is to get that lesson, because when you get that lesson, the person who passed on won't have died in vain. You'll be able to have a deeper relationship with them in many ways than you did possibly when they were living. And you can make that death meaningful. If something physically is dying in your life, like a job or a relationship, you can learn the lesson and not have to go through that same painful death again. Many times, the universe will rip things away from us and go through those metaphorical deaths, not as punishment, but as an opportunity to create this open space in our lives. And the universe loves to fill open spaces with all kinds of beautiful things. But the problem is we can be so focused on the death, or in the Christian metaphor, so focused on the crucifixion that we miss the rebirth that's on the way. And we just can stay completely focused on the trauma, which is understandable. There's a lot of reasons why the brain does that. But what we want to start to realize is that underneath that trauma, there are feelings that have to be felt. And once we start to feel those feelings, they start to pass through us and we start to process them. And while we'll never, we'll miss that job, or we'll miss that relationship, or we'll miss that person, or we'll miss that pet. It doesn't have to die in vain, and we can learn that lesson, and we can start to bring meaning to life. The saddest thing would be that if someone you loved passed on, or you lost a job or relationship, and there was a death there, and you stopped living. I can tell you that in my own life, the people that I've lost to, just natural causes or suicide, every time I lose someone, it kills me on the inside. It's just so brutal. But it makes me want to give 10 times more. It makes me want to serve 10 times more, because I don't want my life to die. I don't want my light to go out because there's darkness in the world and because I've lost someone. But the most important thing to do is to recognize that you can't do that spiritual bypass. You gotta feel those feelings fully. So my question for you is, in the comments below, you might be watching this video on Facebook or on YouTube or over at thedailylove.com, but wherever you are, head on over to thedailylove.com. And in the comments below this video, I'd like to know, first of all, is there anything dying in your life? Is there a person? Is there a job? Is there a relationship? What are those feelings that you're feeling, right? And if someone's passed, previous to this video, or a relationship has gone away, or job, or whatever it might be, you felt those feelings. What are you learning? What could you bring forward? How could you make sure that you learned the lesson, or that they didn't die in vain? In the comments over on thedailylove.com, I would love to know. And most importantly, and as always here at Daily Love TV, the most important thing I can say to you is take action and make it real. Can you believe it? My new book, Daily Love, Growing into Grace, is out September 9th. I can't wait to share it with you. To check out all the information on how to pre-order and order the book, head on over to growingintograce.com for all the information.